Welcome. My name is Aksa Noreen. I am the Virtual Content Specialist for Special Education ELA Grades 3 to 5. The lesson focus today is ELA Grade 5, Module 8, Day 8, Into Reading a New Home. The title of today's lesson is Into Reading Module 8, a New Home. The focus question is, how do people adapt to new experiences and make a new place home? The lesson objectives: identify real-life connections between words and their use. Use newly acquired vocabulary expressively. Answer questions and discuss meanings to develop vocabulary. The resource which I will be sharing with you will be utilized during the independent work part of the lesson. So let's get started. The resource which I will be sharing with you today is how to utilize support sheets using the online platform Google Docs. Now, what is Google Docs? Google Docs is a word processor component of Google's online Office suite. It's a free alternative to Microsoft Word. The difference is it allows you to share live documents, and students and teachers can interact and collaborate with one document in real live time. So let's take a closer look at Google Docs. This is the online platform, Google Docs. Now, as you can see, it looks very similar to Microsoft Word, and it is. But the special feature about this online platform is it allows you to share the document with students, and they are able to make changes and write in the information they see fit, and the teacher is able to instantly see it and provide feedback. Now, this is a support sheet which is created for the lesson today. The lesson's objective is for students to be able to make inferences while they are reading independently on a text. Now, inferences can be difficult for students because they are coming to their own conclusions based on text clues and background knowledge that they already have on the topic. This is an especially difficult topic for certain students because they have to combine two sets of information and come up with an inference which is individual to them. So this is the support sheet. I will quickly go over what the support sheet looks like and what are the different elements, and then we will go over how students will collaborate with this document. Now, the first thing that you always want to include, and especially for our students with disabilities and our EL students, is a visual aid which they will utilize to help them complete the activity or the lesson. Now, for our support sheet, we have this visual on the top. It says text clues plus background knowledge equals inference. You will notice that it's a very simple formula that students can utilize to make an inference, and it provides visuals of what each one means. Text clues means what is in the story. Background knowledge is what students already know, and an inference is something you come up with on your own. Now, students will have this for their support sheet as they're completing the independent work. During the independent work of this lesson, students have to go back to the text and answer these three questions. They have to draw inferences from the text for these questions. Now, if this can become difficult for students, if it is not broken down into smaller steps for the students. So this is why this graphic organizer, which has been created, will help students to break down the process of making an inference. On the first column, you have the three questions that the students will be answering. What has caused Elsa's feelings about visiting her grandmother to change? Why is Elsa surprised by Jose's why is Elsa surprised by Jose's composition? What does she learn from him? What experiences have shown Elsa that the joining of forces is important? Now for each question, students have to complete these steps in order to come to their conclusion. They have to write down what it says in the story about this question. The next thing they have to do is, what do they know about this topic? And then they have to complete the box that says, what does this tell me? So these three things are information that the students have to fill out for each of these questions. It allows them to go back to the text, use their own knowledge, and come up with a conclusion about this question. This is helpful for students with disabilities because it allows them to chunk the information into small digestible pieces. It allows them to break it down and to be able to come up with their own conclusion. Now, students have this. How do students go about writing in this, and how do teachers go about providing feedback? Well, the way to do this is the share option on Google Docs. Now, students can have access to this document if the owner, which is you, the teacher, adds their email here, and they will receive a notification that they have been asked to edit or join this document. Or teachers can simply provide the link to students where they are able to edit the document. But you want to be mindful that you can have students edit this document. How do you do this? Well, you have to make sure that anyone with this link can be an editor, which means they can edit the document. You would copy this link and share with students. Now, one thing to be mindful of this document is a Google Docs is an interactive collaborative document, which means that if students have the same link, they will be able to edit the same document, which is not ideal when you want students to be working independently. This is why it's necessary to make a copy of this document, which you can do by going to File, make a copy, add a student's name on the top, and share that separate link with each student. If you are using Google Classroom, you can upload this document in your classwork tab. You can click on Make a Copy, and each student will get a separate copy to edit. If you are not using Google Classroom to share this document, then the solution that I provided right now, where you make a copy for each student, is how you would go about having each student access a separate copy of the document, which they will edit. Now, as students are editing this document, the teacher is able to see what changes they're making and what are they adding to this document. Teachers can choose to add comments to certain parts of the document, so students are able to see what the teacher is writing. What did you mean by this? So teachers can add comments and provide feedback. They can also provide suggestions to what students should be writing. This is what makes this online platform so interactive. You can see live changes, and you can provide instant feedback for students so they can readjust what they are writing. So why use Google Docs? Why use support sheets? Support sheets are a necessity for our students with disabilities. We want them to be able to attain the objectives and understand the concepts that are being taught. But we want to provide the essential supports to be able to be successful in this. This is why supports aren't necessary. Any activity needs to be broken down. There needs to be visual aids that are provided to students so they are able to understand the concepts. This is why support sheets are so essential. Why use Google Docs? Well, Google Docs, it takes Microsoft Word onto the next level, where students are able to interact with their teachers and also with their peers and get instant feedback and instant commentary on what they're doing. This makes the online learning more fun. It makes it more collaborative, and it makes it more engaging for students. Thank you so much for watching. This is Aksa Noreen logging off. Happy teaching.